What's going on YouTube? Your boy Sprites back with that armed dragon goodness. We're going to be taking a look at pure armed dragons in the TCG today. Obviously I am a huge fan of pure, it's my favorite way to play the deck. It just took me a while to figure out the most consistent version of it, and that's why it took so long for me to post on YouTube. But it's finally done and I'm extremely satisfied with it. But before we go any further, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton and it keeps me motivated to make more armed dragon and Yu-Gi-Oh related content. Back to the deck. Armed dragons are a blind going second deck. They want to wipe the field and then go for an OTK. They're actually an OTK machine if I'm being honest. But if you don't manage to get the OTK, it's totally fine in this build because you have a couple of different interruptions you can make for your opponent's turn, which also means if you're forced to go first at any point, you actually can make a pretty competent board, which is nice as well. A quick rundown of the deck. We have Armed Dragon Thunder level 3, 5, and 7 at 3 copies each, because these are all your searchers. When they're sent to the grave for the cost of another dragon's effect, they search for a new card. So 7 will search for anything within the archetype. This is great to grab your spells and your boss monsters. 5 is going to search for a level 5 or higher wind dragon, which can reach even outside of the archetype, getting you some good extension with Tempest. 3 is only going to draw you one card, which isn't the best, but it's still card advantage. And you're going to abuse these search effects with Pile Armed Dragon, who can send these armed dragons from hand to grave as cost to special summon itself, and it can even send them from deck to grave as cost to boost the attack of other monsters. The only downside to Pile Armed Dragon is you can only attack with one monster for the rest of that turn, but that is easily bypassed by going into main phase 2 or by making Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord, who can attack 3 times. Your bosses in the deck are going to be the Armed Dragon Thunder level 10. It's just a quick effect pop during your opponent's turn and discards your armed dragons to search for more stuff. It's also indestructible through battle and you can't take control of it, which is nice. And then you have the original Armed Dragon level 10, who's going to completely wipe your opponent's field of monsters, and you special summon him by tributing your Armed Dragon level 7. 3 artillery catapult turtles are pretty much mandatory because it's going to cheat out a level 5 from your deck, making the level up process a lot faster, and it helps you play through hand traps. We got the 1 Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. This is an extender, but it can also search out other dragons in your deck. 3 Armed Dragon Flash for consistency and to play through hand traps. 1 Armed Dragon Blitz to target your Pile Armed Dragon to summon a second one. That way you can go into a rank 7 Dragon XCs, or you can even target Thunder level 10 to cheese out a original level 10 so you can wipe the field and still have an interruption. Then we have the 1 Armed Dragon Lightning. This would be an easy 3 of if Catapult Turtle was an actual Armed Dragon card, because I do love the idea that you place it down and then your opponent can't destroy your Armed Dragon cards. It's great for going second, but unfortunately the archetype, needs a little bit of help from other archetypes, and that is why I'm only playing 1 Armed Dragon Lightning, because it's not going to work with Catapult Turtle. It's not always live, so it's only at 1 just to keep our hand replenished and to protect our boss monster. Then we got 3 Pot of Extravagance just for a free draw 2. We don't really care about the extra deck. Consistency is needed in this deck. 3 Return of the Dragon Lords plus 1 Monster Reborn. I cannot emphasize how important these cards are. Just bringing back level 7s from your graveyard. You got Pile and Armed Dragon Thunder level 7. It just helps you play through so much, and Return of the Dragon Lords makes your dragons indestructible, which is really nice. And then the hand trap lineup is 3 Ash, 3 Gamma with the Driver, and 3 Imperms. I think these are all the best game 1 hand traps that we can play. And Gamma, if you're playing a going second deck, you have to play Gamma. It pretty much just ends your opponent's turn, because a negate and destroy is just that detrimental. The extra deck isn't that important, but we still have a good toolbox to work with. We got Dark Arm, the Dragon of Annihilation. It's basically just going to pop 2 cards. It's not once per turn, and it just attaches to pop. We have Voloferniges, the Darkest Dragon Doomrider. This is a quick effect pop, but it uses both its material. It's basically just like a Dollar General Thunder level 10, but it's a lot easier to make. We got the Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord, who can attack 3 times bypassing Pile Armed Dragon's effect. Or you can even boost this thing's attack to like 6,000 with Pile Armed Dragon, and you're just going to get the easiest OTK in the game. But in order to play Overlord, you have to play the original Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, because you have to stack them on top of him. And then we have 3 Hieratic Seals just to have an interruption for our opponent's turn. The side deck is definitely a work in progress, but I have 3 Droll and Lockbird right now because I feel like it's good against targeted decks like Floowandereeze and Dragon Link and Drytron. DD Crow is really important against decks like Sprite and Terra Element, which are the meta, but I usually just go to locals or play online, so I'm not seeing that much meta. so I don't really want to main deck it because DD Crow kind of falls flat against a lot of other matchups. We got the Koa'ki Meiru Drago. This is for going first. You can special summon this off Hieratic Seals, and it's going to prevent both players from summoning light and dark monsters. So that's like an auto win against so many decks, especially branded, which is super popular at locals. And it will be at 0 attack and 0 defense, but if your opponent tries to swing at it, you can pop it with either Voloferniges or Armed Dragon level 10. This deck isn't the greatest against back row, so we're playing 3 Lightning Storm, 1 Feather Duster, and 1 Red Reboot. And then you can play whatever Floodgate you want. I'm playing 3 D-Barrier because it's just like one of the most broken ones at the moment. Now that you've seen the list, let's see what it can do. My first game was against Crawler. To be honest, I actually hate this deck because if you let it play, it's the most aggravating thing to deal with. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let him play. He's going to normal summon the Gearsu here in a second, and I'm just going to blow it up with a Gamma. Gamma is so powerful. It just straight up ends any deck's turn. I don't know why you wouldn't play Gamma in a going second deck. I understand maybe for going first, but it's just ridiculous. So he's just going to set 2 and pass. I easily have OTK here, but I don't want to just lose to like an Imperm or something and have no interruption. So I'm going to play it a bit safer because I'm in such a commanding position. I'm just going to level up all the way into Thunder level 10 just to see if I could bait out an Imperm, then go into Odd Eyes Rebellion Overlord, but he's going to let it happen. But I'm pretty confident sitting here with a Thunder level 10, an Imperm, and an Ash Blossom. He is going to Ogre my level 10 after popping his card in response to his trap, but that's fine because I got really lucky and got a Return of the Dragon Lords brought back level 7, brought back the Tempest with his effect, and we're going to Xyz into Odd Eyes Rebellion and then stack Overlord on top of it to attack multiple times per game. Okay, this replay was actually hilarious because somehow this guy entered my lobby with banned cards, so he had MaxC and Nibiru in his opening hand, and that's usually like enough to end my turn, but I'm able to play through it, believe it or not. Granted, he does brick the rest of his hand, but I think MaxC Nibiru is pretty formidable enough. So I'm going to go ahead and launch my Extrav, draw 2. I draw into the Gamma, which was amazing, because when I go for Armed Dragon Flash, I'm able to Gamma since I didn't have any monsters on the board. So I was just so surprised there when I saw the MaxC. It was like a freaking jump scare. I'm going to activate Armed Dragon Lightning. Now, okay, misplay here. I should have activated Lightning, then activate Flash. My brain just wasn't working, I guess. That way my Armed Dragon would be protected, but it didn't really matter because I have so much gas in the hand anyways. We're going to go into level 5, trigger 5's effect in Grave to search for Tempest. We're going to use Pile sending the Tempest because I want to make a rank 7, pop those back row with Dark Armed. He's going to hit me with the Nibiru, and I'm like, god damn. This guy just has everything. So then I'm going to use the Return of the Dragon Lords, which just lets me keep playing. And then I'm going to use Tempest to special summon himself out, activate Pile's effect targeting myself so I can boost its attack, trigger the Thunder level 7 effect to have a follow-up for next turn. I'm going to swing over the Nibiru because I'm humongous, and then I overlay into Voloferniges for the next turn. That's what I love about this deck. You can have follow-up. He's going to pass it down to me. I'm just going to switch to attack position because I got an 8,000 beat stick right here. He's going to activate his trap card. I'm going to chain to pop it. I know it will pop me, but it's better than getting popped and my attack halved. And then I'm going to normal summon level 3 just to realize I don't have any more 5s in deck, but I do get to search for a Pile Armed Dragon, summon my Tempest, and then go for Hieratic Seals. Back to my opponent, he's just going to set 1 and pass. I'm going to bounce his card during the end phase and special summon a level 7 from my deck because I can just discard it for a Thunder level 10 real quick. That's exactly what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to summon back the Tempest again and attack for game. This game was against Shiranui Zombie World, pretty interesting deck, but also a pretty fragile deck. He's going to normal summon Squire, I'm just going to hit it with an Imperm. Going to pass like any zombie deck would after an Imperm, to be honest. And then I am going to activate Lightning first this time, because I remembered. I'm going to use Pile Armed Dragon to send 7. He's going to flip up Gozen, which means literally nothing to me. My entire deck is Wind Dragon. Gozen and Rivalry do nothing. And then I'm going to start leveling up my Armed Dragons. I'm going to search for a Tempest here because my plan right now is to tribute this level 7 for level 10. I'm going to get the level 3 back from my graveyard with Lightning, draw a card after discarding and popping his monster. I draw into Return of the Dragon Lords, which is super win more, but all I need was the second level 7 for Odd Eyes Rebellion and we would have won. This one was against Sprites. I think it was mixed with Live Twin or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not too in the know about Sprite. I'm not as competitive as I used to be, so I'm not that familiar with the meta right now. But I do know that this deck is a royal pain in the ass, and he is going to make a totally awesome in Sprite Elf, and that is already a lot to deal with on its own. But I have 0 hand traps, and I'm somehow going to manage to play through a lot of this. So it's my turn. I'm going to activate Extrav. He doesn't negate it. I'm surprised he didn't Ash it. I'm really surprised he didn't Ash it. He's going to negate my Armed Dragon Lightning. I think he did that just so he can interact with me a bit more since it protects me from destruction. And he can get the Toad back anyways with Sprite Elf. I'm going to activate Pile Armed Dragon, pitching the 7. 7's going to search, and then he's going to use the Ash, which is an okay Ash Blossom. I have a lot more to play with in my hand. He's going to bring back the Totally Awesome. Now, in hindsight, I should have activated Pile Effect before going in the battle phase, so that way my Return of the Dragon Lords was safe, but I misplayed here, then he misplays, because I'm going to walk over the Totally Awesome. He's going to Sprite Smashers me, which is fine, but I get to Return the Dragon Lords. He doesn't negate it. That kind of baffles me, but it also should baffle me that I didn't activate Pile Effect. So, you know, a misplay for a misplay, sure, why not? I'm going to activate level 7, he's going to negate it, and I'm going to protect it from destruction so he doesn't just steal it. And then I can special summon my Tempest and attempt to go into Dark Armed. I'm going to pop his Sprite Elf, baiting out the infinite Impermanence. And I have almost broken the board, but Sprite Elf is just such a degenerate card. He's going to be able to come back from this no problem, or at least I think. He's going to bring back the Toad. He's going to summon his Leela, which is dead because they have cards on the field. But he can go into a gigantic Sprite with a Link monster, by the way. Super fair. He's going to go back into another Elf, just do some damage, Elf Toad again, honestly not a terrible plan. He's going to let my Tempest resolve, which kind of surprised me. I'm going to swing over the Elf, and then I'm going to tribute it for a level 5, so he has something kind of high attack to deal with, because the one thing with Sprite is they all have low attack. They kind of have trouble clearing really high attack monsters when you've used up like your entire engine. He goes into Nightmare Sabrus forgetting that it only pops special summon monsters, and then he rage quits. Now realistically, I probably should have lost here because he could have gone like Hawk Celine, he just wasn't playing it. This was the one game I was forced to go first in. I'm against Gimmick Puppets. I'm assuming they were just trying to turbo out rank 8s or something, because he got the whole Draglubi on play, but I'm not afraid of it. I'm going to activate Lightning, I'm going to use Flash to get out level 3, summon 5, activate 3 in hand. I draw into another 5, which is fantastic. I summon 7, 5 is going to search for a Pile Arm Dragon. I'm going to discard the dead level 10 in my hand, summon Thunder level 10. We're going to add back an Arm Dragon level 5 and set Imperm. So basically I have a pop with Thunder level 10. I can search with level 5 when I do so. I have an Imperm and then Piles for the follow-up. Lightning gives me some follow-up too if I don't have to use it for its destruction effect. He's just going to normal summon Humpty Dumpty and I Imperm him, and that's pretty much it. This deck isn't the best, so I'm able to clear his back row and search for a Tempest, which is phenomenal. So next turn I can just activate Pile Arm Dragon, send the Tempest effect, summon itself, go into Odd Eyes Rebellion Overlord, and swing for a ton of damage. My one loss in this playtest session was actually against Evil Eye. I was not expecting this deck to go this hard, but the new support really did wonders for it, I guess. So he's gonna go for his Evil Eye Resurrection. It like sends 2 to grave and searches something. I'm like, what the hell? I'm gonna ash that. He's gonna get ashed. He doesn't care though, because he got what he needed in the grave. He's gonna get his Eye of Selene. He's gonna activate his monster, and I know this is like the only monster in the deck, so I'm just gonna Imperm it. Again, it doesn't matter though, because they got Prosperity too, so they're gonna excavate for 6, and they're just gonna dig for the trap card, which is another interruption for them. And I'm feeling like I can play through this super easy, but no, this is way more interruptions than you would think it is. So I'm gonna normal summon the Catapult Turtle I just top decked. I'm gonna go into Armed Dragon level 5. We're gonna use Tempest to pitch to level 3 to search for another 5 and draw a card. I draw a 7, which is great. He's gonna pop my level 5 when I attempt to level up, so it won't resolve. But I still get the search with the 5 in the graveyard, so I get a Pile Arm Dragon. Pile is just so great for follow-up, so I'm going to activate his effect, pitch to 7, 7's going to search for Blitz. Now, I had the craziest play right here. I was going to use Arm Dragon Blitz to summon another Pile Arm Dragon, then summon a level 7 from my grave with Monster Reborn, make an Odd Eyes Rebellion, and then boost that Rebellion to 6,000 attack and attack this, what is this called? Surzeal? I'm going to attack it like 3 times with Odd Eyes Rebellion at 6,000 attack because it can't be destroyed by battle. That was like kind of what I was going for. But he targets my Pile Arm Dragon, so my Arm Dragon Blitz will lose target because it's going to get bounced to my hand. So I just lost 2 cards right there. That's why I'm not like the biggest fan of Arm Dragon Blitz. But I still have Monster Reborn, but he can link summon during my turn, I guess. I'm gonna summon the level 7, attempt to use its effect, and it gets popped again, and I'm just gonna lose the duel right there. That's all I've got for this Armed Dragon deck. Honestly, I am super happy with how it turned out. I'm glad that Pure is working. It's great at going second, breaking boards, OTKing people. That's what I love about the deck. It's just so aggressive, which makes it just so much fun to play. That being said, it still needs a little bit more support before I see this being like an actual competitive strat, but for locals, this is perfect. The fact that you can give meta decks a run for their money, and you can clap other rogue decks no problem, it's in a pretty good place. Alright guys, I'm gonna head out now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.